Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Want to welcome you to the May 23rd, 2015 Vinyl Treasure Show. Glad you can join Johnny G on this beautiful day. Had a beautiful day here in New York City. Actually, I am really tired because I got back around 5 o'clock from the Bronx Zoo. Barbara and I took my niece and nephew, Adriana and Bobby, and my brother Bobby and his wife Antoinette. We went to the Bronx Zoo. We left around 11:30 today, and we saw some cool things at the Bronx Zoo. And I think I got a little bit of a sunburn because I am hot. Yes, I am. But I'm here for tonight on this Memorial Day weekend. It's been some cool 45s, original 45s, some rare ones too. But once in a while, I open up with the 50s edition with an early 60s instrumental, and we just heard one by William Randolph Cole, a.k.a. you know him as Cozy Cole. He was from East Orange, New Jersey, born October 17th, 1909, and he was the lead drummer for many swing bands in the 1930s and 40s. Of course, you may know his biggest hit from 1958, a song called Topsy Part 2 was a big hit for him, number 3 on the Billboard charts on the Love label, but he had a lot of releases on this label that I featured, King Records, Sid Nathan's King Records there. It was from April 1960. We opened up with Cozy Cole with his tune called Bag of Tricks. I got a lot of Bag of Tricks for tonight's show, so you're going to want to stick around as we are here from 10 to midnight. Actually, we'll do a little bit of overtime, pulled about 54 records, and let's start her off here with the vocal portion. And you know, after Billy Storm was the leader of the Valiants, after he left the Valiants in mid-1958, he teamed up with a couple of the members of the Squires and had a release on the Dice label recorded as Billy Fortune and the Squires, which then came out on the Deck label as Billy Storm and the Squires, a song called Listen to My Heart. Then he covered this 45 that I'm featuring on the Barbary Coast record label with his group, the Squires, and they are uncredited on the label here, though. But let's go back to August of 1958 for Billy Storm with the Squires backing him up. This on Barbary Coast, and his tune to open up the vocal portion of the Vinyl Treasure Show, his tune called The Way to My Heart. The way to my heart.
Let me show you the way to my heart. And I'm hoping that we'll never, ever, 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 ever part. Whoa, let me show you the way to my love. With the stars shining way up there above. Let me show
Open up the vocal portion of the Vinyl Treasure Show there with Billy Storm. Billy Storm and an uncredited group. Actually, they're not mentioned on the label, but they are the Squires there, or a revised group of the Squires. August 58, The Way to My Heart on the Barbary Coast record label there. And in 1959, Barbary Coast sold his contract to Columbia Records for a mere $1,700. But I don't really think that Billy Storm had any hits. Actually did. I think he had one pop hit on Columbia, if you're familiar with I've Come of Age. I think that was like maybe a top 20 record for him, but it was more in the popish range. Yes, it was. Enough of my babbling here. Let's continue here. You all know this next group, this girl group from Passaic, New Jersey. They had so many hits through the years. Their first release was in 1958 on Florence Greenberg's Tiara label, which was then picked up by Decca Records, a song I'm sure you know called I Met Him on a Sunday. They had two more releases on the Decca label, but really nothing happened. And but then Florence Greenberg changed her label name, Tiara. She changed it to Scepter Records and re-signed the girls. And their first release on the Scepter label was a cover of the Five Royales dedicated to the One I Love, which initially failed for them in 1959, but then it was resurrected to become a big hit in early 1961. And it was the follow-up to their big #1 hit in 1960, Will You Love Me Tomorrow. But here is the B-side of that first release on the Scepter record label, and was written by the group, the Shirelles. It features Shirley Owens, Alston Reeves on lead. Let's go back to July of 1959. These are the Shirelles on Scepter with a B-side, a song entitled Look-a-Here, Baby.
Well, look-a-here, baby, won't you give me a ring? Sing, sing, why did you try to put down on me to bed? Sing, sing, why did you? Well, look-a-here, baby, won't you treat me right? Sing, sing, why did you? Let's get together on Saturday night. Sing, sing, why did you? Well, I met you on a Sunday. I went and put you down. Well, it's funny, yes, darling. I like it upside down. Well, look at you, baby, tonight's the night. Sing, sing, why you do? Kiss me hard and hold me tight. Sing, sing, why you do? We'll be together forevermore. Sing, sing, why you do? Well, I met you on a Sunday, and I went and put you down. Well, it's funny, yes, darling. I like it upside down. Look at you, baby, tonight's the night. Sing, sing, why you do? Hold me, baby, and squeeze me tight. Sing, sing, why you do? We'll be together forevermore. Sing, sing, why you do? 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 Look at here, babe.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's the B-side to Dedicated to the One I Love. Those are the Shirelles from July 1959, the first time that record was released on the White Scepter label with that light blue print. That is the first press of that 45, song entitled Look-a-Here, Baby. Let's continue here, and I don't have any info on this next 45. I think I did feature it on one of my anniversary shows a few years back. It's on a label called Blue Jay, Blujay Records. It's out of New York City, and there is an ultra rare 45 on the Blue Jay label by a group called the Blue Jays, a song called Write Me a Letter, which was really the third release for the label. And the second release on the label is by band leader Nat Sledge and his Blue Jay band, and a song called Jumpin' with the Blue Jays. So I think that group, they sang with Nat Sledge on that second release, and I have the first release, and they're probably backing him up on this one too, because this is Blue Jay number 1000, a pretty rare record here, and I'm guessing it's from 1954. It's actually an 53 or 54, but anyway, it's by Nat Sledge's Blue Jay Dance Band, and the vocal on here is someone by the name of William Baby Keeby, and there is a vocal group in the background. It's on the Blue Jay label, Blue Jay number 1000. The name of the tune is called Be My Little Baby.
Well, be my little baby, and baby, hurry home. Yes, be my little baby, and baby, hurry home. I haven't had any loving since my little baby been gone. Well, you said that you love me, you said it with your heart and soul. Yes, you said that you love me, you said it with your heart and soul. Well, come back, baby, because I'm growing old, old, old. Baby, please come back to me. Baby, please come back, baby, please come back to me. Well, I'm down here crying, I'm crying, don't bend me. Well, be my little baby, and baby, hurry home. Yes, be my little baby, and baby, hurry home. I haven't had any loving since my little baby been gone.
Sounding like 54, you think? Maybe 53, 54, maybe. But that is on the Blue Jay record label there, Nat Sledge's Blue Jay Dance Band. Vocal William Baby Keeby on lead there, and I think that group called the Blue Jays, they're backing them up on that one with Be My Little Baby. That's the name of that one there. And Kreider had this record in 1961. No way. No way is that record from 1961. He's probably getting confused with that other Blue Jay release by really the Royal Teens, I think, on that Blue Jay record label. Anyway, let's continue here for our Saturday evening. We head to Cleveland, Ohio for this next 45, actually a pretty rare 45 here. It happens to be the group's only release on Perry Stevens' Capri label, CAPRI Records, and I'm featuring the A side of the 45. Features Richard Howard on lead, along with Banjo Bill and his Rhythm Kings. We go back to May of 1954 as we count down the music chronologically here on the 50s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show for the Spartans. The Spartans on Capri, and their tune called Faith, Hope, and Charity.
I woke up one fine Sunday and wished that I was gone. The big world seemed too tough for me, and I felt like doing wrong. I paid the hope and a charity. I paid the hope and a charity. That's all the world will ask of you and me. I dressed and I went to church. The wise man said to me, there are three things in this world, son: faith, hope, and charity. Faith, hope, and charity. Faith, hope, and charity. That's all the world will ask of you and me. Found me that these were God's own words. I pay the hope and a charity. I pay the hope and a charity. That's all the world will ask of you and me. And I found that best believe and I pray for all mankind. And if I give a little bread, much happiness I'd find. I pay the hope and a charity. I pay the hope and a charity. That's all the world will ask of you and me. Faith, hope, and charity. Faith, hope, and charity. Faith, hope, and charity.
Rare 45s here for a Saturday evening. I didn't have my mic closed. Did you hear that phone ring? The phone rang. I usually close my microphone. And actually, I didn't say anything. No, I did not. But anyway, those are the Spartans, a Rare 45 from May 1954 on the Capri record label. Song entitled Faith, Hope, and Charity. That's one maybe you heard on the Time Capsule Show. Probably the flip side of that 45, a lot of the old-time collectors like that slow ballad called Lost. With very rare 45 on the Capri record label. Be careful of those bootlegs, though. And I had some information about. I definitely have an original on that one, but you got to really be careful, as Ratio booted that 45, and it's very hard to tell. I think he said that he put the addresses on the ones that he booted. So if anybody tells you that the addresses are the first presses, they are not. No, they are not. Anyway, enough of my babbling here. Let's continue. We stay in 1954, and here's another group that had only one release. This time came out on Sid Nathan's Deluxe record label. They are from Jacksonville, Florida, and the song was written by the lead singer, goes by the name of Benny Goodwin. Benny Goodwin, this one from December 54. They're called The Four Speeds on Deluxe Records. I have a bio promo on this one, song entitled The Girls Back Home.
There's a girl back home named Mary. There's a girl back home named Betty. And there's a girl back home named Gloria. And there's a girl back home named Sally. Now tell me where my baby can be. Well, when I look from east to west, and I look from town to town, just looking for the one I love, but my baby couldn't be found. There's a girl back home named Mary. And there's a girl back home named Betty. And there's a girl back home named Gloria. And there's a girl back home named Sally. Now tell me where my my baby have left me. That Mr. So-and-so, there's a girl back home named Mary, and there's a girl back home named Betty, there's a girl back home named Gloria, and there's a girl back home named Shirley. Now tell me where my baby can be. There's a girl back home named Mary, there's a girl back home named Betty, and there's a girl back home named Gloria, and there's a girl back home named Shirley. Now tell me where my baby can be. Well, my search is all over, and I ain't gonna look no more. For my baby have left me, for that Mr. So-and-so. There's a girl back home named Mary, and there's a girl back home named Betty, and there's a girl back home named Gloria, and there's a girl back home named Shirley. Now tell me where my baby can be.
Yeah, December 54 release there on Sid Nathan's Deluxe Records. Great label to collect. A lot of cool tunes on the Deluxe label. Those are the 4 Speeds. Their only release on Deluxe, their tune called The Girl's Back Home. Yes, she is. Let's continue here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the tunes I spin. Only original vinyl 45s here every Saturday. I am on the Ustream broadcaster. And I had to call Dell's service again as I had some Java update that I did, and it did something. It messed something up. And I had actually a pretty nice technician that came on. Actually, it was late on Friday night, and he said I had a corrupt Chrome file somehow. And he updated everything, and everything is working fine. Hopefully, let's just hope my webcam my webcam doesn't freeze like it did. That's why I have so many parts on my YouTube account and on the Ustream. You can always go back to the Ustream account and see the show again if you want to. And a lot of people do during the week, and they send me emails about the records, etc. And I think they didn't ban one of the videos I put up of last week. They didn't. And then another one they did, they banned it only in 4 countries, which I think is ridiculous. Anyway, enough of my babbling here. Let's continue. And we head to Brooklyn, New York for this next group who also recorded for Sid Nathan's King record label. And this is their 6th and final release that came out on the King label. It features Billy Clark on lead. This one from July of 1955. We move into 55. These are the Strangers on King, and their tune called Without a Friend.
Without a friend, oh, I stand alone, no one to walk with or call my own, no one to talk with. Must I go on, going through life without a friend? Oh, without a friend, I need someone to walk beside me. Oh, please, someone, please come and guide me. I can't go on going through life without a friend. Without a friend, I pray that someone will show me the way as I go on from day to day. If someone soon won't hear my arms unfold,
but no one's near me.
your story's told.
Won't someone hear me? So now I end, and once again, without a friend.
Here without
I like that tune there by the Strangers. Billy Clark on lead for that one. July 1955. They don't make records like that anymore. No, they don't. Sid Nathan's King Records. Without a Friend is the name of that one. You have a friend every day of the week here on Top Shelf Oldies. You just tune in to topshelfoldies.org. Got some cool DJs during the week. John G here for a Saturday evening, spinning original vinyl 45s as we always do. And let's go to this next one out of 55. This group, they're called the Four Students. And according to the company files, that being Groove Records, a subsidiary of RCA, this group recorded as 5 members, not 4, at least on this release. And Ollie Jones, Abel DeCosta, Robbie Kirk, Edward Barnes, and the fifth one being the writer of this song that I'm going to feature. He goes by the name of Curly Williams, like they didn't know if it was the same Curly Williams that recorded for the Modern record label. There's a great record on Modern, Curly Williams and a Group, but I don't know if it's the same one. You might think it would be. I don't know. But anyway, this is the only release that the Four Students are not backing up another artist on Groove, because all their other releases, or at least the releases that are mentioned on the label, they're backing up other artists. Lil Mackenzie, Piano Red, Zilla Mays, Sue Allen, Big John Greer, Veretta Dillard, Tommy Brown, Charles Calhoun, Emmett Hobson. They backed up all those artists. If you collect the Groove record label, you will see the Four Students mentioned on the label. But this is their only release as the Four Students, and they are really the Qs, at least on this release. So they also recorded as the Qs on other labels, Atlantic, etc. But anyway, let's go back to June of 55, the Four Students on Groove, with kind of a wacky novelty tune, but a great up-tempo song called Hot Rotten Soda Pop. Oh, my toe.
Oh, by Jove, you got that toe. Hot rotten soda pop, you step on that little toe that's got that corn. Man, oh man, I wish you never was born. Oh, by Jove, my poor little toe.
Ouch, ouch, oh my toe. Ouch, ouch, oh my toe. Ouch, ouch, oh my toe. I said, please, mister, please, don't step on my toe. He looked at me, said, put your foot in your pocket, Joe.
That foot flew you with the fat John Doe. Just keep stepping on my soul toe. Hot rotten soda pop on that corn. Oh, by Jove, I wish they never was born. Hot rotten soda pop, toes about gone.
Ouch, ouch, oh my toe. Ouch, ouch, oh my toe. Ouch, ouch, oh my toe.
Woman weighing 204. Excuse me, please, was that your toe? Hot rotten soda pop ain't no more. Keep on walking, oh, walking on my toe.
Ouch, ouch, oh my toe. Ouch,
ouch, oh my toe. Ooch, ouch, oh my toe.
Hot rotten soda pop, no more toe.
Ouch.
June 1955 released their novelty tune by the Four Students. What are they talking about? But that sax break, a great sax break in that record, I say. But those are the Four Students on Groove. Hot Rotten Soda Pop, parentheses, oh my toe. Maybe somebody stepped on his toe. Maybe they should do that. Enough of my babbling here. Let's continue. And are any of you listeners familiar with an instrumental group called The Meters from 1969? The Meters, recorded on the Josie label. You familiar with records like Sissy Strut and Sophisticated Sissy? You know those tunes on the Josie label, something I'll play possibly on my 60s show next Saturday, an all 60s show next Saturday, by the way, 64 and later out of my collection. But that was that group's, the Meters' biggest hits. Well, the founding member of that group is the lead singer with this group that I'm featuring on the Chess label. They are from New Orleans, Louisiana, and he was just 17 years old when he recorded this song. And he is part of one of the notable musical families of New Orleans, that being the Neville Brothers. And he started his solo career in 1957 on the Specialty label, but had others on labels like Instant and Cinderella and other labels. And, of course, I'm talking about Art Neville, and he is doing lead here with this group called the Hawkettes. The Hawkettes. And listen to the lyrics to this song, because they're very interesting, actually pretty interesting. So listen to this. This one's from March of 55, Leonard Chess's Chess record label, the Hawkettes, with their tune called Your Time's Up.
I'm gonna cut you if you stand, shoot you if you run. You've been messing with my woman, and I hope you had your fun messing around. You should do that messing around. You've been messing with my woman, and the words all over town. I'm gonna shoot you if you run, cut you if you stand. You've been gambling with my loving, and you hold the losing hand. Messing around, you shouldn't do that messing around. Get that monkey off my back, oh, I plant you in the ground. Time to call a halt. Can't go on this way. You've been riding free, and now it's time for you to pay. Mess around, you should do mess around. I've been waiting for the payoff to put you in the ground.
Yeah, very violent record there by the Hawkettes. Hawkettes from March 1955. You would think it's a female group. When I first saw that record, I was in Louis Silvani's store when he was in Dobbs Ferry, New York. He had a bunch of records there, and he sold me that record. Actually, a pretty decent price, too. It's not an easy record to find. The Hawkettes, they're a great bluesy tune on Leonard Chess's Chess record label. Your Time's Up is the name of that one. And this one, I think, came out again in 1958 on the Sapphire label, but it's a reissue on Sapphire in 1958. Enough of my babbling here. Let's continue. Let's move into 1956. And up next, a well-known group out of Detroit, Michigan. They were very well-known in the Detroit area. They started singing in 1952 as the Serenaders on the JVB label, on Coral, on Red Robin, on Swing Time, and Deluxe. They do some ultra rare 45s that I have featured here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Then in 1955, they changed their name to the Royal Jesters. They recorded 3 on the Atco record label. This is their third and my favorite by the group, which was covered in 1962. You may have the female version of this by Bobby Smith and the Dreamgirls on Big Top. The female version is called Mine All Mine. It was co-written by the lead singer. He goes by the name of Willie Jones, but this is the original, which came out in September of 1956. We go to the Maroon Atco record label. These are the Royal Jokers with a great tune, song entitled She's Mine, All Mine. Boom, boom, biddy, biddy, boom, bop. Whoa, 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 boom, boom, biddy, biddy, boom, bop. Whoa, 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 boom, boom, biddy, biddy, boom, bop. Whoa, 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 boom. Wow, 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 boom.
Well, me and my girl, we're going to the show. Me and my girl, don't care if it rain or snow. Me and my girl, we're gonna have a good time. Well, the candy stand, and after that, bring the popcorn man, and we can dance like no one can, because she's mine, all mine. Now when I take her in my car, well, I will take the curves, and when I hold her in my arms, and when we kiss, there goes my nerves. When we're alone, we start off with a hug, then later on, we play the kissing bug, me and my girl, we're gonna have a good time. So fine, because she's mine, all mine. Oh, I'm gonna buy her a wedding ring, and then I'll hear all the angels sing. They will say that she's mine, all mine.
September 1956 release there. That's my favorite record by the Royal Jokers. And Willie Jones on lead for that one. Atco Records. Atco Records for that one. She's Mine, All Mine. Remember one time Ronnie I had a battle of the groups. He played that one, and then he played Bobby Smith and the Dreamgirls. I forget who won, but you were able to call in on that show, that Ronnie I Just For You show. You were able to call in and vote on that. and I forget who won. It was like really close. It was because that Bobby Smith and the Dreamgirls. They do a great rendition of that too from '62. Enough of my babbling here. Let's continue here. We haven't heard this group out of Gary, Indiana, in quite a while. I can't remember the last time I played this group, as they are well overdue for a play here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. They had 20 releases on Vivian Carter's VJ record label between 1953 and 1960. I'm playing their 8th release on VJ, the great Pookie Hudson on lead. This one came out in April of 1956. Of course, I'm talking about the Spaniels on VJ, and their tune called Dear Heart.
Dear heart, my heart, oh, what can I do? Dear heart, I love her. Will she ever care for me? What can I do? I'm asking you, dear heart. Dear heart, I miss her. I want to kiss her tenderly. She doesn't know I love her so. Dear heart, never told her I love her madly. I wanna hold her, love her, keep her in my arms. I wanna kiss her, oh so badly, and keep every one of her lovable charms. Dear heart, please help me, tell her she's the one for me. Yes, she's the one, the only one. Dear heart, never told her I love her madly. I wanna hold her, love her, keep her in my arms. I wanna kiss her, oh so badly, and keep every one of her lovable songs. Dear heart, please help me, tell her she's the one for me. Yes, she's the one, the only one. Dear heart, dear heart.
That's a great record there from April 1956. Those are the Spaniels. The Spaniels on Vivian Carter's VJ record label. Dear Heart is the name of that one. The late Pookie Hudson on lead. The Spaniels here for a Saturday evening. John G here for a Saturday evening, spinning original vinyl 45s. Out of my collection, we count down the music chronologically here for a Saturday evening. Next Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, I'll be doing 1964 and later sounds. So if you like the 60s sounds, you're going to want to tune in. Got some cool 45s for that one. Let's continue here. Here's an R&B singer born in Woodville, Mississippi back in 1919, and this happens to be his only release. Came out on Ernie Young's Excello label along it's Vince Monroe with Ernie Holland and his orchestra. But his real name wasn't Vince Monroe. It was really Monroe Vincent. He just decided to flip it to Vince Monroe, sort of flipped his name around. And Billboard reviewed this song in August of 1956 and called him a hoarse-voiced croaker. Gives a very humorous effect to this snappy, upbeat material aimed primarily at the southern markets. And this is potent enough to break elsewhere if sufficiently exposed. That big if. And I don't think that Ernie Young really exposed this record enough, and must have been played because I have the stock copy on this. So I'm exposing it here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. So let's go back to August of 56 for Vince Monroe on Excello with his tune called Give It Up, or Tell Where It's At.
Tell where it's at. So give it up. Oh, tell where it's at. Well, give me my money back. Don't go no place. I don't go nowhere. I don't go no place. I don't go nowhere. Got my 58 Ford and my white walls back. So give it up. Oh, tell where it's at. So give it up. Oh, tell where it's at. Well, give me my money back. I work all day and night time too. I work all day and night time too. Well, the more I work, the less you do. So give it up. Oh, tell where it's at. Give it up. Oh, tell where it's at. Well, give me my money back.
There you go. Give It Up is the name of that one as Johnny Gets Caught here as we do. August 56 release, Vince Monroe with Ernie Holland and his orchestra on the Excello record label out of Nashville, Tennessee, song entitled Give It Up, parentheses, or Tell Where It's At. That's the name of that one from 1956. Let's continue. Let's go back to a girl group sound, as this group recorded 3 on George Gollner's Rama record label, and this is the rarest of the 3 to find. Although I did get my copy, believe it or not, as a buy it now on eBay back in probably around 2001. Was a buy it now, and actually was a pretty decent price. The condition was maybe not really questionable, but it was okay, I guess, definitely for the price. But the lead singer on this one is Vicki Burgess, who prior to this song, she was the lead with a group called the Charmers on Central. And but she, on this song that I'm featuring, it is a cover first recorded back in 1949 by Martha Mears, but many others have recorded this beautiful song. And there is a male chorus in the background here backing up this girl group. They're called the Lyrics, as Raul Sita would use them often in his recordings because he was managing this group and I think at the Harp Tones at the time. But this group here that I'm featuring, they're called the Joy Tones. This is their third release on Rama from November 56, the Joy Tones on Rama, with their tune called My Foolish Heart.
My foolish heart, my foolish heart. The night is like a lovely tune to be away.
November 1956 release there, the Joy Tones. Joy Tones, Vicky Burgess on lead there, the Red Rama label. George Goldner's Red Rama label for that one. My Foolish Heart is the name of that one. I forget, one of the record shows I went to, there was this kid walking around and he kept on asking, he asked every person in that record show, do you have an extra copy of My Foolish Heart? Do you have an extra copy? I said, no, it's not that easy a record to find. Anybody's not going to have a double on that one. And I think eventually he did get an acetate or something by the Joy Tones, and he paid too much money. He paid like $500 for that acetate. I said, you don't even know if that's an original acetate. Beware, you collectors out there, if someone sells you some of those acetates, you really have to make sure they are authentic 1950s acetates. And acetates are dangerous because every time you play them, you wear them out. You do. So if you buy an acetate of a rare record, you need to tape it and then you put it away in storage. That's what you need to do. Well, enough of my babbling here. Let's continue here. This next artist was born Rudolph Spencer Green, September 30, 1926, and he was not exactly a household name, although you might be familiar with two cool rockers he does on the Ember label, if you know a song called Juicy Fruit or Wild Life. But according to Bobby Hebb, you know Bobby Hebb of Sunny fame, this guy Rudolph, was one of Little Richard's best friends in the mid-1950s. And it's claimed that in Little Richard's classic line in his song, are you familiar with the song Tutti Frutti? Well, when he goes Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, it was sung in honor of this singer. It was because he was Little Richard's friend. And he goes by the name of Rudy Green. And he has recorded on a number of labels. I think originally in like 1949 on the Bullet label. He has records on Chance and Ember. And I had pulled the one he did on Club 51 where he's being backed up by the Four Buddies. But here's one on Ernie Young's Excello record label. It's the first of two he recorded for Excello, and it's one that he wrote. This one from January 56, Rudy Green on Excello, and his tune called My Mumblin' Baby.
Mom, she can't speak a word, but she sure ain't dumb. She said, move, 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 baby, you my desire. Well, I love you, baby, cause you're setting my soul on fire. Well, early in the morning when I'm ready to go, she said, move, 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 move. She says, come on, daddy, satisfy my soul. Yeah, I got to love my mamas just before I go. Well, the mamas want me to buy a home. She say, move, 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 move. She says, come on, daddy, won't you buy me a home? Well, I got to love my mamas just before I roam. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She says, come on, daddy, won't you buy me a home? Well, I got to love my mamas just before I roam. Yeah, 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 mamas, mamas, mamas as I can be. Mamas, mamas, mamas as I can be. Well, I love you, baby, but mamas, you killing me. Mama.
Yeah, Mr. Rudy Green there. Rudy Green from January 1956. Ernie Young's Excello record label out of Nashville, Tennessee. My Mumblin' Baby is the name of that one. Let's continue here. And for the last couple of weeks, I've featured both sides of a record on Old Town. The last 2 weeks, I featured the co-eds, Love You Baby All the Time. I played the flip side, I Beg for Your Forgiveness. Of course, it featured Gwen Edwards on lead. As you know, I love those female leads with male vocal group backing. And here is another group like that, similar to that. They are from New Haven, Connecticut, a female lead and male backing. The female lead, she goes by the name of Ruby Whitaker, and the backup group, they're called the Chestnuts. As this song was recorded in November of 1956, and it came out twice. The first time it came out was in February of 1957 as the Chestnuts, as only the Chestnuts. Then in April, they re-released it as Ruby Whitaker, or featuring Ruby Whitaker and the Chestnuts. I don't know why that Marty Kugel did that, but the press that I'm featuring has Ruby Whitaker and the Chestnuts, although you know I am a completist and I own both copies of this record. Anyway, it's written by the lead singer. Her name is Ruby Whitaker. We go to Marty Kugel's Standard label, the same label that the Five Satins first recorded in the Still of the Night, although this is the green label. This one from April 57, Ruby Whitaker and the Chestnuts with her tune called Who Knows Better Than I.
A beautiful love affair. Everyone says we know that it's a lie. You don't do the things you should. People don't know too good, but who knows better than I?
April 1957 release there, the Chestnuts, featuring Ruby Whittaker on lead with a song that she wrote there on the Standard record label. That's the Green Standard label. Who knows better than I? Yes, Johnny G. Let's continue here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the tunes. We count down the music chronologically here for a Saturday evening. We have the long Memorial Day weekend. Not much like summer, though. It was really nice today walking around at the Bronx Zoo, as my brother has this like program on his phone with how many steps we did, and I guess give or take, I think I did 10,000 steps today, which was a lot of steps. Anyway, I am tired. Yes, I am, but I'm not tired playing my 45, so let's continue. Up next, a rare 45 for this group out of New York City. They recorded 2 on B. Caslin's Hull record label, and their first release is their best release, in my opinion. And it's their rare. It's actually a pretty rare 45 if you have this on original. The song was recorded in January of 1957, but Hull didn't release it until June of 57. It features Joel Allen on lead. This one on Hull Records. This one from June of 57. Give a listen to the Sparks. The Sparks on Hull with their tune called Run, Run, Run.
Why don't you run? Hear what I say. Why don't you run? Don't be that way. Why don't you run? Oh, baby, please. Somebody's calling you at your front door. Why don't you run? Come hear my plea. Why don't you run? Slip me the key. Why don't you run? If you love me. Somebody's calling you at your front door. Why don't you run? Don't be that way. Why don't you run? Come hear my plea. Somebody's calling you at your front door. Why don't you open up your door and let me in? You're my loving baby and I want to win. Heart beating like a tick of a clock. Please can't you hear me when I knock, knock, knock? Why don't you run? Hear what I say. Why don't you run? Don't be that way. Why don't you run? Come hear my plea. Somebody's calling you at your front door. Come hear my plea. Why don't you run? Slip me the key. Why don't you run? If you love me. At your front door. Why don't you run? Come hear my plea. Why don't you run? Slip me the key. Why don't you run? If you love me.
That group, they're called the Sparks. The Sparks from June 1957. B. Caslin's Hull record label. Their song entitled Run, Run, Run. Flipside's a nice ballad. They do a nice rendition of Danny Boy, but their other release is like a calypso sound. It's on, and actually when I saw it, it was like on the Green Hull label. It was an odd-looking Hull, as there are a few odd-looking Hulls. I think there's an orange Hull. This was a green Hull. But I like the black and the red Hulls. Yes, I do. Enough of my Hull babbling here. Let's continue here. We are in 1957, and this next group, they are from Baltimore, Maryland. They first started recording back on the Jax record label, JAX Records, in 1953 as Bobby Hall and the Kings. But then when Bobby Hall, he left the group in late 1953, they just called themselves the Kings, and Adolphus Holcomb, he became the leader of the group, and he co-wrote this song as we go to George Gollner's Gone record label. This one from September of 1957, another not easy to find 45 on the Gone record label, but these are the Kings. The Kings with their tune called Love is Something from Within.
I know what it is to be in love with someone who's not in love with you. Remember, my friend, love is something that's from within. It keeps you worried with falling tears, wondering, my friend, can this love be real? And remember, my friend, love is something that's from within. Why should we worry about such strange things as long as stars are in the sky? Why should we worry about such strange things? Well, as long as there's best to find, and if His blessings should abide in you, then let His power just carry you through. And remember, my friend, love is something that's from within. Now go home now and dry your tears, and go for something that's real. And remember, my friend, love is something that's from within.
Those are the Kings with Adolphus Holcomb on lead there from September 1957. George Gollner's Gone record label for that one. Love is Something from Within is the name of the tune. This group, the Kings, they would also record as the Four Kings on Jax, the Ramblers on MGM, and they record as the Kings on other labels like Gotham and J-Lo and J-Wing and Lookie and Epic and RCA, and then they recorded as Little Hooks and the Kings, and also on the Little Rick label, on the Chess label, and Little Hooks, of course, was Adolphus Holcomb, and they do Count Your Blessings. That's a great record that they do on Little Rick. Well, enough of my babbling here. Let's continue, and this next 45 I featured before here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, and it's a favorite of mine, and the first time I heard this was on the Gus Gossard Show sometime in the early 1970s. This group is out of Brooklyn, and it's the group's only release as we go to Morty Kraft's Melba record label, co-written by the lead singer. His name is Bill Witt. This one from 1957 on Melba Records. Give a listen to the Rocketones. The Rocketones with their cool tune, song entitled Mexico. Sounds of 1957 here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Morty Kraft's Melba Records. Melba Records there, those are the Rocketones. Bill Witt on lead. Their tune called Mexico. They're going back to Mexico. Johnny G and Barbara will be going to Arizona. I'll be leaving Arizona. I'm leaving on, I think it's that Sunday morning, early Sunday morning. I will not be doing my show on June 6th. I'll be leaving June 7th. We're going to stay for almost the whole week in Arizona. We're going to check out the Grand Canyon. Going to stay over in Sedona there, and haven't been on vacation. It's been over a year now, but we're excited to go. And Ramtown Mike will be filling in that Saturday evening, starting at 9 p.m. So you want to tune in to Ramtown Mike on the 6th of June. I will be back next Saturday with my All 60s show, so you want to tune into that. But let's continue here. Let's flip over a 45 from last week's Vinyl Treasure Show that came out on the Safari label out of New York City. It's a pretty rare record. It is hard to find for sure, but I played the B-side of the 45, which was the up-tempo side, a song called Why. And we're going to give a listen to the A-side of the record. It's a nice ballad and a very rare record. And the group is called The Chessmen, but I mentioned last week that they spelled it wrong on the label. They spelled it singular, Chessman. And this side features someone by the name of Bobby, which is not mentioned on the B-side. So it features Bobby on lead. This one from 1958. Give a listen to the Chessmen on Safari with their tune called The Keeper of My Love. Sounds of 1958 here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Chessmen. The Chessmen with Bobby, featuring Bobby on lead there. Safari Records, a song called The Keeper of My Love. That's not an easy record to find. No, it is not. Had a dupe of that I did sell. Had a kind of like a warp in it, and I did sell it. Got some decent money for that one. Enough of my babbling here. Let's continue here. We are in 1958. Let's go back to Detroit, Michigan. And their first release came out in 1958. 57 on the Fascination label, but they were known as the Pharaohs on that release. They followed it up with a song called Lazy Bonnie that came out on the Lorelei label, which was also picked up by Dot Records. I like that record a lot by them. And on this release, this was their next release on a label called Chant Records with the song written by the lead singer. He goes by the name of Lynn Best. But, of course, they changed their name from the Pharaohs to the Four Imperials. And this one's from June of 1958. It's on Chant Records, the Four Imperials, with their tune called My Girl.
My girl, yes, I love her so. My girl, I'll never let her go. My girl is known on this earth so fine. My girl, I love to dance with her. My girl, cuddle and romance with her. My girl, I know she's mine all my time. Well, when we go walking down the street, everybody looks around. The cats on the corner that all stamp their feet and say, look at what my man has found. My girl, yes, I love her so. My girl, I'll never let her go. My girl, I fell for her charm. Now when I'm lonely and have no place to go, I call my girl on the phone. Well, me and her, we cut out someplace where we can be alone. My girl, yes, I love her so. My girl, I'll never let her go. My girl, I fell for her charms. My girl, my girl, my girl, my girl,
They're called the Four Imperials. Lynn Best on lead. They're actually sounding a little bit like their Lazy Bonnie release, but that's June of 1958 on the Chant record label, their tune called My Girl, as we continue here. And on last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, I played the B-side to Joey D's debut single. Yes, the same Joey D that did the Peppermint Twist on the Roulette record label. Played the up-tempo side, which was the B-side, a song called The Girl I Walk to School. And the vocal group in the background, they were really the Catalinas, who also recorded on Little. I featured their record, too, over the last couple weeks. But here is the A-side of the 45. This is the intended A-side, and Joey D wrote the tune. It's a very rare 45 if you have it. I only have it as a VG copy on the Little record label. I also have the 1962 bonus release, which was a reissue. But this one's from 1958. This is the original by Joey D and the Starlighters, a.k.a. the Catalinas, backing them up. Joey D on Little with the ballad side, a song called Lorraine.
Lorraine, Lorraine, Lorraine. Do, 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 do. It's not the same for you and me. Oh, gee, that we were meant to be. Lorraine, Lorraine. I love you, sweet Lorraine.
I guess it does play pretty good for a VG, but I would love a mint copy on that. I would. That's Joey D and the Starlighters. That's his debut single. That's the A side of the 45 from 1958 on the Little record label. Song entitled Lorraine. As we move on here for a Saturday evening, hope you're digging on the tunes on this Memorial Day weekend. A 3-day weekend I could relax. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be doing some interesting things with Barbara for the next 2 days. I plan on doing that, but I really need some relaxation. I do. It was a week from hell in Newark because they had all these graduations and all these extra people on the road. It was just terrible. I had to leave early. I had to leave before 7 o'clock every morning, and it would take me, a little bit over an hour to get in. I had to beat the traffic, but anyway, I did it, and I'm here, and I'm playing my 45s that I really love, so let's continue here. And up next, we got the Rockabilly Record of the Week by this group out of Lubbock, Texas, a great two-sided 45. Supposedly, though, Terry Nolan is doing lead on this, and I don't know why he would be singing with this group, because at the time he was signed to Brunswick Records. He had some releases at this time in August of 58, some solo recordings. So he supposedly is in this group, or at least doing lead. And another important person in this group was someone by the name of Larry Wellborn. And he is the guitar player, as he played guitar on a couple of Buddy Holly's releases, like That'll Be the Day and I'm Looking for Someone to Love. It was Larry Wellborn who was on guitar, and he's playing guitar on our Rockabilly Record of the Week from August of 1958. We go to the Challenge label here, Gene Autry's Challenge record label. This group is called the 14s. The song is called Go, Little Go Cats.
Chick, cute as she can be. When she starts to dance, man, it's something to see. She gets with the crowd for the after-school hop. If she really moves it to the beat of the pop, they holler, go, go, little go cats. Jump, jump, little go cats. Shake, shake, little go cats. Go, little go cat, go. All day long at school she can't sit quiet, but she's on a solid rock and roll diet. When the bell rings at the end of the day, the kids they follow her and then they shout and say, hey, go, go, little go cat. Jump, jump, little go cat. Shake, shake, little go cat. Go, little go cat, go. From school about 4 o'clock, turns on the radio and starts to rock. The telephone rings about a dozen times. It's all her friends on the end of the line are saying, go, go, little go cat, yeah. Jump, jump, little go cat, uh-huh. Shake, shake, little go cat. Go, little go cat, go. Now the guys all ask her to go steady. The answer is she's not quite ready. They ask her who's her big romance. She laughs and says, I just love to dance. Go, go, little go cat, yeah. Jump, jump, little go cat. Shake, shake, little go cat. Go, little go cat, go.
Now that record plays like a VG. I tell you, what do you want for a couple bucks? Anyway, those are the four teens. The four teens. That's a great two-sided 45 there. That's the Rockabilly record of the week from August 1958 on Challenge Records. Go Little Go Cat is the name of that one. Let's continue here. Let's flip over another 45 from last week's Vinyl Treasure Show. Actually, it's a flip request. A Bopper Boy asked me to play the B-side of this 45 as we head back to Ernie Young's Excello record label. He wanted me to play a song called Slewfoot Sue by a group called The Seniors. That was the B-side of the 45, but here is the intended A-side of the 45. We go back to Excello Records. This one released in January of 1958, The Seniors, with their tune called Why Did You Leave Me?
Oh, darling, why did you leave me? Tell me why did you have to go? Listen, darling, you know I love you. I love you so. Oh, darling, why did you leave me? Tell me why am I here all alone? Come back, darling, you know I want you. I want you back. So many times I've been so lonely. I've been all alone ever since you left. And if you don't come back to me, baby, I'm not gonna kill myself, and I'll tell you why. I'm gonna get me a new babe that I can sit right here on my shelf, for I'm too young to die. But still I wanna know, darling, why did you leave me? Why did you Oh, darling, why did you leave me? Was it that I didn't have any dough? Tell me, darling, I wanna know, darling, why did you have to
They like that one there on the top shelf. Holy shit, that actually that could be my gospel record of the week again. Those are The Seniors from January 1968. That is the A-side of the 45, Ernie Young's Excello Records. Why did you leave me? No, Johnny G not leaving you, not till after midnight tonight. And we got a great 3-day Memorial Day weekend here, so let's continue here. Let's go to the Bronx, New York for this next group. Actually, this time to Zell Sanders' J&S record label, but this group, really, they are from Baltimore, Maryland. And this is the second of two they recorded on the J&S record label. Actually, there is a third by an unknown group that used the name The Plants. But, of course, this is their follow-up to their tune, Dear I Swear. And this one features George Jackson on lead. We go back to May of 1958. This is the second release for The Plants on Zell Sanders' J&S record label. This is the A-side, a song entitled From Me.
I want to be sure, my dear. Don't want you
won't ever let you go from me. I want your every care, even if you are far or near. For my heart might even stray. Don't you ever go away from me. It may take time to make up my mind, but I'm sure you're the girl for me. 'Cause we made a vow to never part, so darling, stay with my heart. I have promised not to make you cry. Now until the day I die. 'Cause I love you so, won't ever let you go. So please, don't go.
I remember when I won that 45, sometime in the early 1980s, a gold mine auction. Lou Haggis was selling duplicates at the time, and I won that 45. I remember that. Those are the Plants from May 1958, their second release on Zell Sanders' J&S record label out of the Bronx, New York, song entitled From Me. Featured George Jackson on lead. Of course, George Jackson would go on to have solo releases. Does a good one on the Les K label in 1961. He has one on Double R and other ones on Mercury, some soulful releases on Mercury later on in the 1960s. Enough of my babbling here. Let's continue. We are in 1958. We count down the music chronologically here on the 50s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show. I've been playing a lot of acts from the Nutmeg State, and here is another one out of New Haven, Connecticut, as they formed in 1955. Their debut single came out on Thomas Robinson's Atlas record label. The song was called In My Lonely Room, a great tune, which was picked up by Jerry Blaine's Josie record label in 1957. They were called the Four Haven Nights, and this is their follow-up release where they just dropped the four. They just became the Haven Nights. It features Leroy Gomez on lead. Let's go back to July of 1958. This is Atlas Records. I have the DJ sample on this, and I got a little bit more to tell you about this record after it plays. But these are the Haven Nights from July of 58 on Atlas with their tune called Why Go On Pretending.
Why go on pretending? Why go on pretending? Why try to make me care? If this is the ending, dear, of our love or affair, don't try to hold me. Just find someone new.
group out of New Haven, Connecticut there, the Haven Knights. The name of the group from July 1958, Thomas Robinson's Atlas Records there. Why Go On Pretending is the name of that one. And that 45 was given to me by a coworker of mine. I worked for Transamerica Leasing for many years, about 15 years. I worked as a manager at Transamerica Leasing. It's a division of the insurance company out in California. They had like a dry cargo container division, and I worked in the accounting department on one of the divisions. And so I had one of my peers. Her name was Hope Knight. She just moved into a new house in New Rochelle, New York, and she said she found some records up in the attic, and she wrote them down, and she said, I could have only one record. She said, you can have it. You don't have to pay me anything for it, but you can only have one record. So I picked this one. I didn't know anything about the condition because it does play with a little bit of a surface noise there, but she had a promo copy of this. Don't ask me how this record turned up in the attic of this home, this residential home. And there was actually writing on the label. The record belonged to Jackie Days. So Jackie, if you're listening, I have your 45. I think her father or something, the house was owned by like a judge or something in New Rochelle, and maybe that was his daughter's record. I don't know, but I'm glad that Hope let me keep that one there. Well, enough of my babbling here. Let's continue here. A couple of weeks ago, I played the B-side of this next 45 on the Ricky, R-I-K-I label. The song was called Why Are You Tearing Us Apart, for this group out of Rockaway, Queens, New York. They had two singles. Their first came out on the ABC Paramount record label. I'm sure you know their tune called The Letter. They followed it up with this release on the Ricky label. And last week I played the B-side, Why Are You Tearing Us Apart? But this is the intended A-side. This one arranged and conducted by Tico Wilshire. It features Leroy Parrish on lead. As we move into 1959, give a listen to the Lark Tones. The Lark Tones on Ricky with their tune called Nosy Neighbors.
Don't make love by the garden gate, 'cause love is blind, but the neighbors ain't. Don't make love by the garden gate, because love is blind, but the neighbors ain't. No, no, not by the garden gate.
Because love is blind, but the neighbors ain't.
Hey, there's that nosy neighbor next door, peeking through the window, kneeling on the floor, trying to find out and see just what she can see.
To tell her neighbor where he lives.
Hey, don't steal a kiss from your mate when you're sitting by the garden gate, because before the sun goes down,
That talk all over town
about that foreman guy, oh my, while being nosy his house, going on by trying to find out about me and you.
to L.O.A. Lonesome Blue.
Don't make love by the garden gate, 'cause love is blind, but the neighbors ain't. Hear what I'm telling you, kissing mates. There are nosy neighbors in all 49 states. Don't make love by the garden gate, 'cause love is blind, but the neighbors ain't. Don't make love by the garden gate.
Sounds of 1959 here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Lark Tones. Leroy Parrish On lead for that one, Ricky Records, R-I-K-I Records. Tico Wilshire involvement there for you collectors out there that look for vinyl 45s. If you see Sammy Lowe or Tico Wilshire, the chances are that's a great record. You're going to want to buy that one there. The Larktones there. Nosy Neighbors is the name of that one. Got new neighbors that are moving in this coming week. They were over there before. If anybody heard that phone ring before, was my mother from 2 flights down calling me, telling me that the neighbors were there. So I put my headphones on. So I'm going to have to wear my headphones starting now. For the last couple of weeks, our neighbors moved to Ireland, and they sold the home. But now with the summer, I have the windows open. They can hear me talking, but they're not going to hear my music. Well, let's continue here. Up next, a girl group. They're out of Philadelphia, PA. They recorded on a few different labels, but they had 2 releases on Herman Lubinsky's Savoy label. Now, the lead singer for the group was a gospel singer with the Clara Ward Singers in 1957, but she left to form this group. Her name is Willarine Ward Moultrie, and she is the lead of this girl group called the Gay Charmers, and she wrote this song. This is the second of 2 on Herman Lubinsky's Savoy Records. We go back to March of '59, the Gay Charmers on Savoy, and their tune called Why Do You Hurt Me, Darling?
Why do you hurt me, darling? Why do you treat me this way? Why, when I try to please you every night and every day, and why, my darling, do you treat me so cruel when I know that our love is here to stay? Oh yes, another love now binds you. Your kisses have grown cold. Love that I gave you, darling, half has never been told. All my life and all of my love is yours, forever and evermore, ever and evermore. Every night when I kneel and pray, oh, I pray that you were here. Must all be in vain? Darling, why can't I get you back again? Whoa, someday we'll be together, happy, so happy, and then maybe I won't have to worry. For true love will always win, and whoa, again, give me love again.
March 1959 release there, the second of 2 for the Gay Charmers on Savoy, Willarine Ward Moultrie. She is doing lead there. Why Do You Hurt Me, Darling? They like that one there in the Top Shelf Oldies Chart. That record was given to me by a girl group collector. I used to do a girl group special here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, play all rare girl group sounds out of my collection. Got to get John Clemente here as a guest. If I can get, when I get my new mixer and get a new speaker, etc. Now that I have the webcam, I can get guests on the program, and he would be a great guest to bring up his girl group sounds because he knows a lot about the girl group sounds. Well, enough of my babbling here. Let's continue here, and we head to Chicago for this next great group, really. And early in their career, the lead of the group was really Jerry Butler, although he came to this group together with Curtis Mayfield, as prior to joining the Impressions, they were members of the Northern Jubilee Gospel Singers. But Jerry Butler did get top billing with the Impressions, especially with the release, that hit For Your Precious Love. But when he left for a solo career, Curtis Mayfield then became the lead. He wrote a lot of the songs for the group, and here is one he wrote, and he is singing lead. It's their fifth and final release as we go to Vivian Carter's Abner record label. This one from December of 1959. These are the Impressions. Curtis Mayfield on lead with their tune called A New Love. Those are the Impressions there. Curtis Mayfield on lead. He wrote the tune. That is their final release on Vivian Carter's Abner record label. It used to be the Falcon label, but they had to change it to Abner Records. December 59, the Impressions on Abner with a song entitled A New Love. Let's continue here, and I really can't tell you much about this next 45 except that I paid a quarter for it a long, long time ago, actually at a local garage sale. The label is out of Elizabeth, New Jersey. The group, though, is out of East Orange, New Jersey, and they have a common group name, as there are so many groups that go by the name of the Blenders. But the group, all the members of the group get writer credits on this one, and it features the lead of Ronald Smalls. He is on lead here. This one came out in July of '59. They're called the Blenders. It's on the Wanger Records. The song is called Angel.
I fell in love with an angel. I fell in love with a doll. And every time she passes by, of her kiss is something else. She gives me such a wonderful thrill. If anyone should take her away, I would love her still. She knows how I love her, so she loves me in return. If she should ever leave me, oh, how my heart would burn, burn, burn. I fell in love with an angel. Oh, I fell in love with a doll. And every time she passes by, I call to her out loud. Fell with an
A group called The Blenders. The Blenders from July of 1959. Guess that record's worth 25 cents, all of 25 cents for sure. The Blenders on Wanger Records there out of Elizabeth, New Jersey. Their tune called Angel. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. One more minute. We are in Vinyl Treasure overtime. Not yet. It's 11:59. Never get tired of this next group out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I think they recorded probably one of the classic two-sided 45s of all time. Their first release, which came out on Jerry Herman's Note record label out of Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm So Young, backed with Every Day of the Week. That is a great record, I say. But they followed it up with this one on Note, another great two-sided 45. And the intended B-side of the record was the ballad side, a song called My Vow to You, but I'm featuring the A-side of the record. Features Leroy King on lead. Checker re-released this in January of 1962, but I'm playing the 1959 release on Note Records. Of course, these are the students with Leroy King on lead, and their up-tempo tune, the A-side, a song called That's How I Feel.
I get a feeling down deep inside whenever you pass me by. Yeah, my heart flies high when you watch me on a slide. You sometimes say the sweetest thing. You give my heart wings. Say unto you flowers I can bring, and you let me be your king. Days, how good you say words that take my breath away. And you say you're the apple of my eye, and someday we'll go side by side. I get a feeling down deep inside whenever you pass me by. Gee, my heart flies high when you watch me on the slide. Yeah.
Those are the Students, Leroy King on lead, 1959. That's the A side of the 45 on the Note record label. That's How I Feel is the name of that one. We are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Overtime. Johnny G spinning original vinyl 45s out of my collection. As we do, we count down the music chronologically, 1950s and early 60s. We move into 1960 now. We head to Washington, D.C. for this next rare 45 that came out on the Win, WINN record label. And the group is called the Gales. This is not the Gales that recorded up in Detroit, Michigan, that recorded for JVB. This is a totally different group. And I think the lead goes by the name of James Ism. And he later on went on to join other groups on the Win label, those being the Marvells and the Senators, but they also recorded for Win. But this is from July of 1960. Give a listen to the Gales on Win with their tune called I Love You.
That's what you are. Say you can if you dare, and I'll love you will share, girl of my dreams. The one I adore. Down the lonely, lonely road, I'll be broken heart. That's where most lovers go. Yeah. But in this love. That's what you are.
From July 1960 there, those are the Gales on the Win, WINN, Win Records out of Washington, D.C., and James Ism on lead there, song entitled I Love You. That's a rare 45 if you have that one on original. Let's continue. Here we are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Let's go back to Chicago, Illinois for this group called the Foster Brothers. They had many releases on different labels, on LB, on Mercury, on Profile, on Dilly, on Hi My, and the one that I'm featuring is Bud Brandon's B&F label. Now, some of you know, you're familiar with a singer by the name of Ray Pettis. He was the lead of the Gems on the Drexel label. They do some great songs. One I Like by them, their first release, a song called Talk About the Weather, and others, of course. Well, he joined the group when the Gems broke up in late 1956, and he's doing lead on this song as we go to B&F Records out of Chicago, February 1960. The Foster Brothers, Ray Pettis on lead. Give a listen to the tune. It's called Pretty Fickle Woman.
Pretty fickle woman, and she dressed and a she robbed you of your heart with nothing but dreams. A pretty fickle woman, yeah, 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 yeah. A pretty fickle woman, yeah, 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 yeah. You're in the same condition as a ship that's on a reef.
Oh man, I'm stuck, oh yes, I'm stuck.
Pretty fickle woman, and she dressed and a she robbed you of your heart with a one little look. A pretty fickle woman, yeah, 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 yeah. A pretty fickle woman, yeah, 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 yeah. You're in the same condition as a fish that's on a hook.
Oh man, I'm stuck, oh yes, I'm stuck.
Pretty fickle woman, and she like just a bad. She can't be true to no one, but she loves you so well. A pretty fickle woman, yeah, 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 yeah. A pretty fickle woman, yeah, 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 yeah. You're in the same condition as a fly that's in a web.
Oh man, I'm stuck, oh yes, I'm stuck.
Pretty fickle woman, and there's nothing but tease her. She promised she'll be baby, but she doesn't, she please. A pretty fickle woman, yeah, 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 yeah. A pretty fickle woman, yeah, 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 yeah. You're in the same condition as a lock without the key.
Oh man, I'm stuck, oh yes, I'm stuck.
Pretty fickle woman.
Those are the Foster Brothers. Ray Pettis on lead there, February 1960 on the B&F record label. I collect that label. There's a lot of like instrumentals and some pop things, but some Debonaires do a great record on that B&F record label. But those are the Foster Brothers there with Pretty Fickle Woman. John G here doing Vinyl Treasure Overtime, spinning 1960s, early 60s on this show. Next Saturday it'll be 1964 and later sounds out of my collection. So if you like those later 60s and touch of the 70s, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But that'll be next Saturday. Let's continue here. And up next, an early Motown release on the Vinyl Treasure Show, as this is the first release on the 1000 series on the Pink label, no less. But now the Miracles, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles had Motown #1 on that Pink label. Of course, that great tune they do called Bad Girl. But I'm featuring Motown number 1000, which actually comes two ways. And the first time the record was released was in February of 1960 without strings. Then Berry Gordy, what he has done countless times before, he listens to the record when it gets played on the radio and he doesn't like it and he adds strings. So he added strings in June of 1960 and re-released the record. But I'm playing the first press without the strings, and for you collectors out there, you can tell. You need to look at your copy, you need to look in the dead wax, and if it has like a matrix like MT12345 in it, that is the first press without strings. Of course, the group I'm talking about is the Satin Tones, and this one charted regionally, was number 57 on KFXM out of San Bernardino, California. Features Jim Ellis on lead. We go back to February of 1960 for the Satin Tones on Motown and their tune called My Beloved.
I love you so.
sympathy. Oh, my darling, please show some sympathy. Please don't go. Oh, don't go. Sweetest little girl in the whole wide world. Don't go, my. I know I'm being just a fool for pleading with you this way. I need you oh so much. Won't you come back and stay? Please don't go. Oh, don't go. Oh, don't go, my don't go. Sweetest little girl in the whole wide world. Don't go, my
That is the first Motown release, actually 1000 Motown 1000, the Satin Tones, February 1960 release there. Song entitled My Beloved. Jim Ellis doing lead on that one. He has great harmonies for the Satin Tones. And that one there, pretty nice record there. Let's continue here. Let's go back to Washington, D.C. And earlier we heard from a group called the Gales. This next group, they're known as the Four Bars. They're the same Four Bars, started recording back in 1954 on Jerry Blaine's Josie record label. But they recorded on many different labels through the years. I'm featuring one on the Cadillac label that came out in 1960. Features Melvin Butler on lead. These are the Four Bars on Cadillac with their tune called Love Me Forevermore.
love me forevermore. Please tell me that you still care. You're in my every prayer, my darling, my angel, you're the one. Say that you'll never leave. Your love I will always grieve. My darling, please say to me that you will love me more. You're in my every dream. You're in my every prayer. Darling, please say to me that you will always be there. Love me forevermore. Please tell me that you still care. You're in my every prayer, my darling, my angel, you're the one. You're in my every dream. You're in my every prayer. Darling, please say to me that you will always be there. Love me forevermore. Please tell me that you still care. You're in my every prayer, my darling, my angel, you're the one. Whisper to me, tell me that I love you. Whisper to me, tell me that I need you.
Sounds out of 1960 here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime, the 4 bars. Melvin Butler on lead there. It's mentioned on the label Cadillac Records. Cadillac Records, song entitled Love Me Forevermore. And I came in the other day, was it the other day on the news? They said that 34 million airbags have to be recalled, and I have a ton of airbags in the Cadillac that I drive, but I think they mentioned it was more for like Toyotas and BMWs and a lot of the foreign cars that there was like metal shooting out of the airbags or something, and they were like deaths, and over 100 people were injured from that. So that's really difficult to hear. Yes, it is. Well, anyway, enough of my babbling here. Let's continue here. I played the A side of this next 45 a few weeks ago. The group was out of Brooklyn, New York. The song that I played was called Cross My Heart. We're going to give a spin to the B side of the 45 before it goes back down in the No Humidity basement for this group. And their initial release came out on RCA. They did a great up-tempo version of the song again, but this is a ballad. It's the B-side, the first of 2 they recorded on the Gramercy record label. Came out in October of 61. These are the Concords on Gramercy, and their tune called Our Last Goodbye.
Goodbye, goodbye.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Overtime, the Concords, October 61 release on the Gramercy record label. The B-side to Cross My Heart. This is the ballad, a song entitled Our Last Goodbye. Not quite yet. So let's continue. Here's another cool 2-sided 45, as this release was later picked up on Vivian Carter's VJ record label and is definitely the more easier one to find. Released in July of 1961, but the first press came out in June of 61 on the Destiny record label. And this group, before this release, they backed up a artist on the Destiny label, goes by the name of Larry Lee, recorded for Destiny, and then they had their own release, which is this one. And I'm featuring the intended B-side of the 45, which is the up-tempo side. Let's go back to June of 61. This is on Destiny Records. It is a styrene press, and you know I hate styrenes, although my styrenes did play well, the few that I did play this evening. But these are the Infatuators on Destiny with a B-side, a song entitled I Found My Love.
Boom, 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 every shabby do a boom, do baby do up, every shabby do a boom, baby do up, every shabby do a boom, baby do up.
Found my love, found it at last, and the door is When I first saw you in the moonlight, my heart skipped a beat all the rest of the night. Don't ever leave me, and we won't ever part. For if you do, you surely break my heart. I found my love, found it, and she'll never leave me, and I'll never let her go. Don't ever leave me, and we won't ever part. For if you do, you surely break my heart. I found my love, found it, and she'll never leave me. No, I'll never let her go.
Every shabby do a bong, baby do. 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 Every shabby do a bong, baby do.
That is a Styrene 45 that plays pretty nice. I have to say The Infatuators is the name of the group. Destiny Records, June 1961 release. That's the B-side. Song entitled I Found My Love. We continue here. We go back to Chicago, Illinois. For this next group, they had 4 overall releases. I'm featuring the first of 2 they recorded on the Adam label. There is one that they do on the Deer, D-E-E-R label, which might be their first release. Prior to this Adam release. Then they recorded 2 on Adam. This one from early 1961. The group is called The Four Uniques. This is side 2 of the record on Adam Records, a song called Lookin' for a Love.
Looking for love. Ooh, rock-da-da, looking for love. I'm looking for a girl to love, girl to make my dreams come true. I need someone I can miss. Need a girl to hug and kiss. Pray to above, 'cause I'm looking for love. I've searched all over town to town, till this day I've never found a girl that I can call just mine, one to make my life divine. Pray to above, 'cause I'm looking for love. I would kiss her lips and I'd hold her tenderly, 'cause I would be one thing she'd never see, be forever true, that she could see. I'd be just anything she want me to be. I need a love, I need one oh so bad. Oh, can't you see? I'm so alone and sad. Pray to above, 'cause I'm looking for love.
That's a group out of Chicago, Illinois. They're called The Four Uniques. 1961 release on the Adam record label, song entitled Looking for a Love. Let's continue here. We stay in 61. Can't tell you much about this next 45. It's on Sid Nathan's King record label, as this group is called The Frontiers. But I think they were pressured to change their name, as their was already a group out, I think, as the Frontiers. They might have been the Premiers that changed their name to the Frontiers, I think. But they changed their name to the New Frontiers. But I like this song for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the corny lyrics, but it's a snappy tune, and I didn't pay a lot for it. What do you want for a couple dollars? Let's give it a spin here from March of 1961. The Frontiers on King, and their tune called Ding Dong Do. March 61 release there for the Frontiers. Ding Dong Do, the odd lyrics there, but I like that song for some reason on the King record banner, Sid Nathan's King record label. We'll go probably till the top of the hour because my Ustream broadcaster will end recording in at 3 hours, and I didn't have a problem with the Ustream. I don't know what happened. It's working okay. Right now I have 2 hours and 30 minutes recorded on the Ustream broadcast. So let's continue here. Let's move into 1962. Here's another flip side from last week's Vinyl Treasure show for this group out of Gary, Indiana. I played the up-tempo A side, a song called Love Me. And the flip side's a ballad. This is on the Port label, which started out basically as a reissue label for Jerry Blaine, or maybe not Jerry Blaine. I think the label, his label Port, he put his son in charge of it or something, but I'm sure Jerry was the guy who really called all the shots. But here's the B-side of that record from March of 62. They're called the Latons. The Latons on the Port label, and this is the ballad side, a song called So in Love. called The Latans. The Latans on the Port record label. Released in March of 1962. That's the B-side there. Song entitled So in Love. John G, so in love with sharing my 45s with you, the Top Shelf Oldies listeners. Let's continue here. You all know this next group. They are from Newark, New Jersey. Started out as the Four Lovers, but then they became the Four Seasons. And in 1961, they signed with Vivian Carter's VJ record label. They had 17 overall releases, 45 releases on VJ. I am featuring their 8th VJ release, which is a cover song that actually they did as the Four Lovers on the RCA record label. When I first heard this version, which was on one of the Gus Gossard shows in the early 1970s, I was a teenager in 1971, and I never knew that the Four Lovers did this or that they did it by the Four Lovers. It was just, I didn't know. I didn't really know anything back in 1971, only what my aunt told me. And I think she did know, though, that Four Lovers release on RCA. But anyway, she didn't know this release, but she knew the Four Lovers release. But I put it on my want list, and I purchased a copy for $1 on on this VJ label. It had a BB hole in it. It was from that. It was a record store out of Philadelphia. They were a warehouse, and I think they're mostly they were selling Lost Night reissues, but they also had a catalog with a whole bunch of other oldies, and you sometimes could luck out and get originals and, of course, reissues. So it's whatever they had in stock they would send to you, and they were cheap. They were like $1. But anyway, this record was released in September of '64, but it first appeared on a VJ album release that came out in October of '62. The album was called Sherry and 11 Others. And it might have been the group's first album, I guess, on VJ. But anyway, I like this updated version, too. A tune written by Otis Blackwell, of course. It features Frankie Valli on lead. This one bubbled under at number 106. Although it came out in September of '64, it was recorded in 1962, of course. These are the Four Seasons on VJ with their resung version of Apple of My Eye. Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. They're actually covering their own tune. Yes, from 1956, as first done by the Four Lovers. Those are the Four Seasons from September 64, actually recorded earlier, 1962. At first on that Sherry album, if you have that album. I have that album. They did a lot of like cover tunes that were later on came out as 45s on VJ Records. But those are the Four Seasons on VJ. Frankie Valli on lead with Apple of My Eye. Let's continue here. We will stop at the top of the hour, and I really like this next song as I have it two ways. I have it on black vinyl and I have it on red vinyl. And the group is out of Hackensack, New Jersey, consisted of Eddie Bryan, Wesley Cook, Linton Davis, Joe Pascuzzo, who I used to buy 45s from. He used to put out a set sale list. I used to buy from him sometime in the mid-1980s. And the lead singer, he goes by the name of Dickie Harmon. And this copy that I'm playing, I won in a Jeff Beckman auction, as he was a collector, one of the old-time collectors. He sold out many, many years ago, like a lot of the old-time collectors did from the early Times Square years in the early 60s. A lot of those guys sold out, but I bought this out of his collection. It's from 1962. The group is called The Connotations. This is on the Technicord label, and the name of the tune is called Before I Go.
Before I go,
That group, they're called The Connotations. The Connotations with Dickie Harmon on lead. I don't know, a lot of these presses, they play crackly for some reason. They do unfortunately. But that's 1962 release on the Technicord record label. Song entitled Before I Go. Almost time for Johnny G to go. We're going to go for a few more 45s. We'll cut out of here in about 15 minutes. And let's head back to Detroit, Michigan for this group called the Pyramids. Now, the lead singer of this group, he goes by the name of Vernon Williams. He was also the lead of the Royal Holidays on the Penthouse and Carlton and Herald labels, and he also sang with the Satin Tones on the Motown label, but he left the Satin Tones in 1962 to join this group called the Pyramids. And this 45 comes out on the first label is called the Sonbert label, which that's a 45 that I'm still looking for. I'm looking for the first press of this. But Cub picked it up for national distribution. Actually, I'm featuring the B-side of the 45 that was written by the lead singer. So let's give a listen to Vernon Williams here from June of 62. They're called the Pyramids. This is on Cub. The song is called Crying. June 1962 release there. They're called the Pyramids. The Pyramids. Vernon Williams doing lean on that one. That's the B-side of the 45 on the Cub record label, song entitled Crying. I think the flip side is like an answer to the Marvelettes' Playboy. Actually, a pretty nice tune. We'll get that one on a future Vinyl Treasure show. Unfortunately, that Vernon Williams, he passed away March 11th, 2004 of a lengthy illness, unfortunately, but we remember him here on the Vinyl Treasures show. Let's go for a couple more here, and we stay in 1962 for this versatile singer. She could sing jazz and operas and blues and R&B and soul, and she's from Clarendon, Pennsylvania. And I think she sang in her first opera at age 9. And she also acted on Broadway plays here in New York City. Her first release came out on the Time record label. I think this is her second release out of 1962. She also has a Facebook page, so you can check it out. She goes by the name of Marva Josie. Marva Josie, you're going to pay if you like this 45, because a lot of the Northern Soul collectors, they like this tune. This is Marva Josie from 62. It's on the Sahara record label. The name of her tune is called I Don't Care.
All I want is your
Her name is Marva Josie. Marva Josie from 1962 on the Sahara record label, song entitled I Don't Care. Two more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here. Got another cover song up next, as this one was a monster hit originally for Jackie Wilson back in 1958. But here's a cover done by this gal from Newark, New Jersey. You might know her soulful hit from 1967 on the Loma record label. You familiar with a tune called Hypnotize? But this is her debut 45 on the Cub record label, subsidiary of MGM Records. She was 19 years old when she recorded this. Her name is Linda Lane. Linda Lane is her name, and I'm thinking of. Well, let's just give a listen. I'll get it right here, but let's give a listen to this song. It's Linda Lane, 1963. Her rendition of the tune Lonely Teardrops. I drew a blank there, of course. She sang, her real name is Linda Jones. That's what I meant to say. But her first release came out as Linda Lane. Yes, that was a.k.a. Linda Lane, a.k.a. Linda Jones there. That's her first record from 1963 on the Cub record label, her rendition of the Jackie Wilson tune, Lonely Teardrops. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to my original vinyl 45s right here on Top Shelf Oldies. We're going to get this show up on my archive. The audio I will post on my vinyltreasures.net website. Hi-Fi Tim has the links also on the topshelfoldies.org website. You can stream or download the shows on either site. And I'm going to post this Ustream broadcaster on my YouTube account, but it's available immediately. If you go to Ustream directly, you can see all the shows there. I don't think they block it in the other countries on Ustream. I think what YouTube does, they scan my show or they play it fast or whatever they do, and if it bumps up against some copyright material, they flag it. That's what I think they do, because I've been getting these ridiculous these ridiculous things that the record is on various artists, blah blah blah. It doesn't even make any sense, because I don't know if somebody's really complaining about it. But anyway, it kind of like pisses me off. But anyway, we're going to close the show tonight for this group out of Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania, and it's their debut single on the Philadelphia Lawn record label. First presses of this, for you collectors out there, come out as the Lancers, but they were forced to change their name to the Royal Lancers because there was already a Lancers group. So on the later pressings, it says Royal Lancers, and mine that I'm featuring says the Lancers. It's the first of two on Lawn. Features Corky Weiss on lead. This one charted at number 51 on KFXM in San Bernardino, California. And the closer tonight is by the Lancers from February '63 on Lawn, a song called Oh, Little Girl. Well, that's going to do it, folks. Thank you for sticking around and listening to the cool tunes. I hope you enjoyed the show. Send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com if you really dug the show, or if you saw me on the stream. Tell me that you were watching me on the stream. That's going to do it, folks. I want everybody to have a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend and a safe week, and I'll see you next Saturday right here on Top Shelf Oldies with my 1964 and later show. Just want to say, everybody, so long.